Hi, this is Leslie Lee with Simply Tarot. Today I'm going to be going over an angel visitation I had back in 2006 and how it kind of led me to what I'm doing now, so stay tuned. Well, back in 2006, I was living in a small studio apartment, pretty much a no bedroom. The apartment was the room. I had my two little girls with me at the time. They were young, probably around 7, 5, somewhere around that age. I had just been going through some issues with my romantic life, kind of a breakup situation, meeting a new person. It was a transitional stage for me. It was the first time I was actually on my own as a single mother with children and kind of like taking 100% of responsibility at the time. So it was new for me, but I was doing it. I had everything set and ready to go. Like I was motivated. I knew I had it in me to do it myself, to, raise my kids and everything. So that's what I was doing. Back then, I received a book from someone who is now my husband. It was Sylvia Browne's Book of Angels. I grew up with, a lot of metaphysical interests, a lot of paranormal things happening in my life. And I also grew up very religious, like blindfully religious. I always felt like I had angels with me. I did. I always felt that growing up. I mean, there's so many stories about, angels and things I encountered growing up, but this one in particular, I was an adult and I knew that what I was going through, what happened to me was real. So the book, I received the book from my then boyfriend and I read it that night. I was so interested in the subject matter. The book was talking about the different kind of angels and what they look like, all sorts of things that was interesting. It was so interesting that I ended up reading the whole thing that night. But then at the end of the book, there's this chapter, there's this little prayer that said, you could see angels too. You could get a visitation if you want. All you have to do is ask. All you have to do is pray for it and you will get it. And I was interested. I was like, wow, really? Like that's all I just asked? I I did. I said the prayer and I closed the book. And since I lived in a studio, it was so small, there was no rooms, I slept on the couch. My kids were on a mattress in the middle of the living room floor. They were sleeping. And so I laid down to go to sleep on the couch. And that's when it happened. All of a sudden, I feel a presence in the room. That sensation when you know someone's watching you, but you're not quite sure where to look or who it is, that feeling came over me. And the first thing I thought was, someone's in my house. Now I'm facing the back of the couch, laying on my side, and I peek over my shoulder because I'm scared. Let's be honest, I was scared. So I peek over my shoulder, and the light from the kitchen produced a shadow on the wall of this huge wing. Like it was the biggest wing I ever seen, stretching over my entire wall. And it wasn't like an image of a wing. It wasn't like there was a statue and the shadow kind of just showed. Like the wing was moving. You could see the feathers kind of furl up at the end. I freaked out. I freaked out. I buried my face in the back of the couch and I freaked out. The only thing going through my mind at the time was, oh my God, what did I bring in my house? Like I kind of felt like I summoned something that I didn't know what I was doing, that I was panicking, heart racing, sweating, like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then suddenly I feel a hand on my shoulder. I just feel it. Very gentle. It wasn't like it even touched my shoulder. It kind of hovered over my shoulder, but that energy was enough. Once that hand hit my shoulder, just warmth, calm, everything. It just, all this loving feeling kind of absorbed into me. And the only thing I kept hearing was, it's okay. It's okay. You're okay. It was soothing. It was a feeling I can't even explain if I tried. Like, I feel like that feeling no one in this world has ever felt. So warm, so encompassing, so just uplifting, like you just wanted to relax. And that's what I did. I just let go. It just felt so good. Then bright light all around me. Like I couldn't see anything but like white. I felt the energy of like a female. I mean, it felt like a female touching me, telling me, it's okay. You're going to be okay. That's what it felt. I didn't hear anything, but it was almost like a telepathic communication. Like she was saying, you're okay. You're okay. Like you're in good hands. Like it's okay. Calm down. And she didn't even have to say that. Just her touch let me know I'm okay. It felt so good. It felt so good that I I I started crying. Tears were rolling down. Like the best feeling ever. It felt so good. You just want to cry. It's weird, but it was amazing. And then the next moment there was like a time shift. Like it's hard to explain. I when I explain this to other people, I say it's like waking up, but it wasn't because I was never asleep. It's so weird. It was just like a shift and things were different. And I looked around, I kind of sat up on the couch and I looked around like, whoa, what was that? That was my first reaction. What did I just experience? I swear for a while, for a long time, for years, I thought I was crazy. I thought I was dreaming. I thought it was my imagination. I was like in denial. I didn't really believe it, or I didn't want to believe it because I think I was afraid of what other people would think. Like I was afraid that they would think I was crazy, or they would think like I was going insane, or they would think, like I was just out of my mind, and I was afraid of getting embarrassed. And it was the feeling of everybody else and what they would think that kept me from really believing. But it stayed with me for years. Like I would always remember that. I would tell only certain people, like my close cousin, like my husband. That's pretty much it. It was crazy. Fast forward years later, I went through a lot religiously. Like I started out as, like I said, blindly religious. My mom told me, "Oh, you're Baptist," so okay, I'm a Baptist, and that's what I was. I just told people, "Yeah, I'm a Baptist." They made me go to Sunday school, that sort of thing. I grew up with that. Then I kind of started looking into religion, and I kind of felt uncomfortable with how it became. There was a period in time where I was kind of a little bit of atheist slash agnostic. Like I still kind of felt like there was some kind of greater presence, but I wasn't sure. I really didn't subscribe to like man's definition of God. But then, interestingly enough, I was watching Ancient Aliens one day. I loved that show. It was just so fascinating how you could, go inside, ancient history and kind of place another being there that could have made that world and built these things that was something other than God. So it was interesting to me. But there was one particular episode that were talking about the Soviet cosmonauts and the Salyut 7 space station. I'll try to put all that information in the description because I could barely pronounce it. It was about a group of cosmonauts that were in space, and they had an encounter what they call were angels. And when they experienced some of the similar things I experienced, especially that feeling, that overwhelming feeling of calm and love and just warmth, it triggered something in me. And I was like, oh my God, was that real? Like, was that really an angel visitation? What I've been through, was that real? Are other people experiencing that same thing? It was amazing. And that was the day that I knew, like, okay, this is something bigger than just my imagination. I researched near-death experiences, and there were some similar things that people said that they experienced about, like, going to heaven or passing over to the other side. The one thing that always stuck with me about those stories were what they described feeling, because I felt that too. I know that feeling, and when they describe it, they can't even describe it. They try to, but they can't. And that's exactly how I feel. And I know it's just a knowing what they felt, what they claim to have seen and experienced. I seen that too. It was an angel. That experience was real. I feel so lucky to have that experience, because it doesn't happen every day for a lot of people. It doesn't happen for so many people on this earth. They don't get that experience. I always had this sacred kind of feeling about it where I don't want to try to do that again. I don't want to ask for that again. It felt like I was overstepping my boundaries or something. Like, that was a cherished moment, and I don't want to play around with that. Like, I don't want to ruin that. It stayed with me all these years, and that's something I don't think anyone who've experienced that will ever forget. You can't forget that. And then later on, there were other experiences that kind of let me know that, you know what, I'm not crazy. Like, I know what I saw. I know what I felt. I didn't see much, but what I felt, that was everything. Oh, that's gonna stay with me forever. Anyway, that's my story. So thank you for watching. If you were touched by this video, give it a like. If you've been through any similar experiences, like, share that with me. I would love to connect with you. I'd love to hear your story. Things like this is amazing. So, all right, well, until next time, thank you.